Hello, my name's Rebecca Lee, and I co-wrote this book, The Mercury Detoxification Manual, with Andy Cutler, PhD, who should have got a Nobel Prize for what he figured out. But he didn't get a Nobel Prize, and his work is largely ignored, with people saying he's out of date and calling those of us who are into his protocol fanatics. Now, I knew him pretty well because I helped him write this book. When we worked together for several years on it. I also asked him to mentor me as a chelation coach, which he consented to do because of all those poor sick people out there, is how he put it. Andy was not a healer or a medical doctor or anything like that, and he was certainly not much good at marketing. He was a scientist. He had a chemistry PhD. I stayed with him 10 days while we were editing the manuscript for the book. He cooked for me and Joanne, his girlfriend, all at that time, Weston Price style and all organic. But I was horrified to see him using Teflon, which he insisted was not a problem unless you heated it up too high. He had terrifying toxic cleaning products under his sink. He didn't seem to consider corn syrup anathema like I did. In fact, he drank a whole lot of Dr. Pepper and had a little fridge full of them next to his computer. He had to change his schedule to accommodate my visit because he was used to staying up all night and sleeping all day. And he told me that he had spent 3 days tidying up too, and the place was still pretty messy. And he had a really big belly. As is often true with mercury toxic men, he had a hard time relating to women. Oh, the irony, as mercury tends to make women anxiety-ridden nutcases, and he had to deal with many of them. I guess he came off as arrogant to lesser intellects. He knew how smart he was, and he knew how qualified he was. He did not suffer fools gladly, and I think a lot of people with more popularity and better at marketing than he disliked him for that. He hated Dr. Mercola, for instance, because he read some scientifically bullshit article on his website probably once. I once sent him there because of a good article on lead, and he refused to look at it just because it was on that website. He figured out this detox protocol because he got sick himself. He had a technical background, and he brought rigor to the process of developing the protocol. He regarded medical people with some trepidation, explaining to me that medical schools want applicants with liberal arts backgrounds these days, that people with technical backgrounds are often horrified by an MD's lack of technical knowledge. He told me about one MD who told him that in med school, the class had voted to skip the section on pharmacokinetics because equations are too hard. He only chelated for 18 months. Apparently, that was enough to get his intellect back online. Joanne told me that since he was thiol intolerant, that chelating with lipoic acid gave him a lot of brain fog, so when he felt well enough, he stopped. He kept saying he was going to start again, but he didn't. And procrastination is a big mercury symptom, by the way. And then he died of a heart attack. Ironically, the effect mercury has on the heart is the one section that we left out of the book, as he died before we could write it. I wrote an article once where I called him an inadvertent arahant. An arahant is a person with spiritual attainment, something I don't think he thought about much. But he figured out this protocol that has taken thousands of people out of very terrible suffering. And he was a big presence in the support groups. And he spent a whole lot of time talking to people and advising them and giving them tips for free, especially to parents for their little kids. Some people disliked him in the groups too because he could get harsh and sarcastic. He called that, quote, being bombastic, and explained to me that taking this tone was the only way he could get some people to listen to him, that he did it to stop them from making horrible mistakes that would put them in a place from which they might never recover. He said that in real life he was not like that at all, and I can attest to that because I worked with him. He was not harsh or sarcastic in real life at all. He consented to mentor me when I asked him because of all those poor sick people out there. I'm sure he considered me, woman that I am, with some trepidation. So please like and share and all those good things. Let's do a little networking and marketing because of all those poor sick people out there. And as on the subject of marketing, this online workshop that I put so much energy into is now on sale for 20% off until the 15th. When you buy it, you get a coupon for the book and 2 months free membership in my support group so you can ask questions. I also do one-on-one coaching, so consider hiring me to help you. I'm very good at explaining things and will start you off from wherever you are at. I'm also a whole lot more patient than Andy was. He was not very good at holding people's hands.